Okay, so first of all, I'm absolutely delighted that last night UFC 300 was on. So that way I didn't have to end up having to sit through that absolute pathetic excuse for a fight. Absolutely awful, to be honest with you. Anderson versus Merhy was absolutely awful. I don't know if I'm saying Merhy's name right, but I actually don't care because he's an absolutely useless sod, isn't he? Honestly, shocking fight that we saw. Absolutely pathetic. From both guys, to be fair. We can't just, put this all on Anderson, but the guy is not going to be a world champion performing the way that he performed. And Merhy, I don't ever want to see him box ever again. Just the whole thing about last night was embarrassing. Two prospects, Anderson and Efe Ajaba, were literally just shown to be. I know that they were just shown to be overhyped. To be honest with you, a Ajaba going to a split decision against some nobody who I've never heard of, and then Anderson struggling against bloody Riyad Merhy. Absolutely embarrassing from Anderson, to be fair, but from Merhy, it was embarrassing from him. Literally, hardly ever threw any shots. I ended up so I was watching UFC 300 live last night, so I wasn't watching the Anderson fight. But I ended up watching the replay of this fight on YouTube, and I had to turn it off after round 5. Somehow I actually made it to round 5, but I turned it off after that round because it was just awful to watch. Same old fight. Anderson was just dominating the fight with the jab when Merhy was throwing nothing back. Merhy was throwing absolutely nothing back. Nothing was coming from him whatsoever. No threat. It was just an easy fight, and Anderson went the distance with him. Like, yes, I know it's hard to get someone out of there who's negative and isn't opening up and fighting you whatsoever. Yes, I get it, it's difficult. But still, though, it's heavyweights. It's not as hard because of the heavy hitters there are in the division. And just the fact that this man's been massively overhyped to be something that he's not. That's the thing. He's massively overhyped. People were comparing him to bloody Anthony Joshua. I mean, that is, the amount of disrespect Anthony Joshua gets, but that is downright disrespectful comparing Anderson to Anthony Joshua. Where's the explosiveness in Anderson? Honestly, last 2 fights, we've seen nothing from him. I mean, Charles Martin, was that his most recent fight? I think so. But it was an awful performance by Anderson in that Charles Martin fight. Awful performance by him. Again, just not throwing enough. And in this fight, just wasn't throwing out the backhand, not explosive enough. He was too basic, too simple. When you're fighting a higher level guy, you're easily going to get found out the way Anderson was fighting last night. Absolutely shocking stuff. He's not going to be a world champion. Massively overhyped. Too simple, easy to figure out when you're going up against some good guy. It's like, but also though, I'm so glad I didn't watch this one live because it's like, when have Top Rank also ever had a good show? Top Rank never have good shows. Top Rank shows are just a waste of time when they got overhyped guys on the show, such as Anderson, such as Ajaba. So I think it's just a complete joke, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was an absolutely pathetic heavyweight fight, to be fair. The heavyweights are meant to be the most entertaining division in boxing, and that I have literally is one of the worst heavyweight boxing fights I've ever seen, and overall worst boxing fights ever, to be fair. And I know bloody saw 5 rounds of it. God knows what the other 5 were like, but I heard the other 5 were absolutely atrocious. I had to switch off after that 5th. Absolutely shocking fight. It was embarrassing. I mean, the commentary literally had nothing to say. You could tell how bored they were getting watching that shit. Honestly, they had nothing to say. They just had dull voices. And it was just, honestly, I think the Top Rank commentary is awful as well. But this fight made them even bloody worse because there was nothing for them to bloody talk about apart from just the same things. Oh, Anderson flicking out the jab here. Well, Merhy, it's still not throwing. Oh, bit hesitant. When's Merhy eventually going to throw that big hand? Is Merhy just looking for a big shot over the top? When's Anderson eventually going to throw his backhand more and be more explosive? We didn't see any of it. Merhy literally wasn't throwing a big overhand to try and finish the fight. God knows what that clown's game plan was. And Anderson was just trying to just control the fight with the jab and just clearly not be explosive. A world-class heavyweight, an elite heavyweight is going to pounce onto opportunities. Like, yes, Merhy had a tight guard, but, mix it up more. That's what an elite heavyweight would do. They would mix it up more, be more clever, And Anderson's not that. He's not clever when he's in there. Like, yes, he is known to be a hard hitter, but he's not clever with his work at all, Anderson. He's not, and there's a lot of work to be done. I don't know what they do with him next. It's really hard because, again, I feel like to find his level right now, it's really hard to know what it is. It really is. I mean, he won every round against Merhy, but nothing was coming back from the bloody guy. Nothing was coming back from him. And, also, I feel like the Charles Martin fight for Anderson exposed a lot, but I feel like a lot of people decided to give him the benefit of the doubt there, because let's be real. Charles Martin, Anthony Joshua knocked out prime Charles Martin, and prime Charles Martin shit. Anderson went the distance and struggled to knock out, couldn't even knock down, I don't think, Charles Martin, who was, about 5 years off his bloody prime. So, he clearly is not as good as people think. And just also as well, heavyweights for America right now is absolutely, it's shocking. America has literally not got one good heavyweight right now. And let's be real, back in the day, America was running the heavyweight division. But, now England are on top of it. And again, another American heavyweight, another overhyped American heavyweight once again. And Anderson's extremely, extremely overhyped and won't be a world champ. He stands no chance against a lot of fighters. Could he even beat Derek Chisora? I don't bloody know. It's a fight that could be interesting. Like, let's be real. We compare him to some top English prospects. Anderson loses to Dubois, loses to Joyce. There's some. Well, they're not really prospects, are they? But again, he loses to Anthony Joshua. He loses to Tyson Fury. I'm just naming boxers in the heavyweight division now. Loses to Usyk. Gets scored by him. Ajaba. Frank Sanchez beats Anderson. Anderson probably beats Ajaba. Ajaba's useless. I've seen people saying Caballero for Anderson. I think Caballero beats Anderson. I really do. I do think Caballero beats Anderson. Caballero would just be too much for him, in my opinion. And Caballero would just put the pressure on him, get him out of there. Honestly, awful. Anderson, awful. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I'll speak to you in a bit. Thanks for watching.